Okay, so let me just go over again here real quickly. This is the Gracie 15, 16, 17, 18. And so what we talked about before with the modified Gracies, this does not hold. These are not modifieds. This particular one, the 15, 16, is just for mesial surfaces only. Mesial surfaces. Posterior mesial surfaces. The 17, 18 is for distal surfaces. So again, the further away in the mouth, more posterior that you go, the higher the number is going to be. So with this instrument, what you need to do is, let's say that we're going to start on number 31. And this is where a lot of people really like to use this because it really does seem to adapt a little bit better, especially to the distals of third molars when they're really far back and just instrumenting those. And especially if you have really heavy tenacious calculus, these that you have in your kit are rigids, and you'll see the R there on the handle. So the rigid means implies that it's designed for it to be used on very heavy tenacious deposits, but if you've used an ultrasonic prior, then you may not really need it to be that rigid in the beginning. But I think that's just the nature of the way these are designed as far as going further back. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to start with my distal, and I've got to find my correct distal end, and I'm going to hold the terminal shank straight up and down at 12 o'clock, and then I'm going to find the end, the working end that tilts, and that tilted end is what's going to be laid up against the tooth surface. So by holding it this way, it looks like the tilted end is on this side. So I'm going to hold the instrument and go in with the back of it into the sulcus safely. And you see how far further back I have to go. So I've really kind of got my fingers up high on the handle a little bit. I'm going to go in at the get ready zone, and then I'm going to stand that up so that there is my terminal shank that is parallel, and now I'm going to make my way into the distal. Okay, so just straight distals. Sometimes I've seen people actually do distal, and then they'll go in, and then they'll do another distal, and then they'll go in into the next tooth to the distals. Okay, personally I like to just start with one tooth, the distal, and then finish that off, and then finish the tooth off before I move to the next one. So because this is not a modified, I've got to put it down and pick up my mesial end and figure out which one that is. And it's this one on this side. So I'll go back to the get ready zone where I left off here and go in at 0 degrees, and then use a horizontal stroke to make that go this way, this way, this way, this way, this way, and go up into the mesial surface. And there, that visual clue, the terminal shank is straight up and down, parallel, and that's my correct end. So I know that I am in correct adaptation. Number 31, go in at the line angle, the horizontal stroke, and stand it up on my fulcrum so that I can appropriately pivot and make my way up into the mesial. All right. So, it takes a little bit of practice, and I encourage you to, if you have your typodonts at home and your instruments, that you do spend some time getting more familiar with this, because this is what we're going to want to be looking at when you do your lab comps over the next 2 weeks.